In contemporary society, chronic emotional overwhelm has transitioned into a baseline condition. We navigate a daily existence where emotional saturation is the expected standard. This data visualization shows epidemiological stress prevalence reaching 74% in the UK and 59% in the US. It is a systemic mismatch between environmental demands and human neurobiological limits. Persistent emotional saturation is the conscious manifestation of a biologically unsustainable pathogenic state. The human stress response evolved as a transient energy mobilization tool. It is designed to address an immediate threat and then immediately power down to allow for physiological recovery. The primary control system is the Hypothalamic-Pituitary-Adrenal, or HPA axis. Normally, this loop regulates stress hormones through a self-limiting feedback mechanism. But when stressors become chronic, the off switch fails, leading to an unregulated release of cortisol and adrenaline. While cortisol is protective in short bursts, its chronic presence is highly neurotoxic to brain tissue. The hippocampus, the center for memory and learning, is the primary casualty, suffering measurable physical atrophy under prolonged exposure. This degradation triggers a state of emotional flooding. The amygdala becomes hyperactive, chemically overriding the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for logic and executive function. These neuroanatomical changes result in severe concentration difficulties, a symptom reported by 67. This microscopic fraying results in premature biological aging. Individuals under high allostatic load can age biologically up to a decade faster than those with regulated stress levels. Chronic overwhelm is a measurable physiological erosion that damages the cardiovascular system and accelerates cellular death. The frequency of this biological malfunction is driven by specific environmental triggers inherent to late modernity. This comparative bar chart shows average stress levels at 6 out of 10 for Gen Z and Millennials, compared to 3.4 for those over 65. Financial and housing instabilities serve as foundational stressors. The cost of basic survival creates a persistent, inescapable threat to safety that prevents the nervous system from powering down. Hyperconnectivity and infoxication compound this load, inducing a state of cognitive fatigue that erodes the ability to process information logically. In the modern workplace, high demands and a lack of recognition simulate an environment where the individual is under constant attack, driving the system toward burnout. Late modernity has constructed a socioeconomic architecture filled with chronic threat profiles that human biology never evolved to switch off. When allostatic load remains high, the state crosses the clinical boundary into formal psychopathology. While chronic overwhelm manifests as persistent worry, it lowers the threshold. This state of hyperarousal is a central mechanism in PTSD and chronic depression. When the environment consistently exceeds an individual's resources, the resulting hopelessness can lead to depressive anhedonia. This causal loop diagram connects socioeconomic stressors to healthcare waitlists and the 98 daily antidepressant doses issued per 1,000 inhabitants. Defaulting to pharmacological treatments to manage a population's response to structural socioeconomic failure is medically inadequate. SSRIs can manage symptoms, but they cannot resolve the environmental drivers. Medicating a statistical norm without addressing the structural causes merely masks the biological alarm. Managing acute saturation requires physical and cognitive interventions designed to manually override the HPA axis. The 4-4-6 respiration technique, inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6, manually recalibrates the autonomic nervous system.